Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another week of the Pokemon Swish Draft League. We're coming up on the end of the regular season here. This is week 13 of our 14-week regular season, and then we'll have playoffs. So, yeah, there's a lot going on today. There's 3 teams that could potentially be eliminated from playoff contention, and there's 4 teams that could potentially clinch a playoff spot today. Maybe not necessarily seeding, but lock in that they get a playoff spot. All right. First and foremost, though, will be 2 teams that were eliminated already from contention. They're just playing for bragging rights and not to be last place. And those 2 teams are 1-10 Team Leanna against 0-12 Wailforce 1. These 2 teams have not had the best of seasons. At least with, they're both understandable. I mean, Wailforce 1 picked a gimmick like, I want to make a team that's like this, kind of like they went for a theme as opposed to a competitive team. So they get a bit of a pass because, you know, they weren't really trying to be the best team. I mean, I'm sure they would have rather not been 0-12, but I don't think they were trying to win the trophy, you know. And the other team at 1-10, honestly, I think they could have been more competitive. I mean, I do know that they picked after the draft, so they were kind of picking from lower on the totem pole anyway. But there were still some good Pokemon. I mean, look at the Lopunny, for example, or Tangrowth if it was ever used correctly. Like, there are some good Pokemon. I mean, there's some that have never been used. Like, they've just used the same 5 every single game. I think that's more of why they're 1-11 than the actual Pokemon on the team. 1-10, sorry. So yeah, I get thrown off by that once in a while since Team Leanna and Team Garrett haven't made up. We're having a doubleheader for them next week, so we'll have 7 matches instead of 6 next week, and then everyone will have the same number of matches played. But sometimes that throws me off because I'm thinking, oh, it should be 12 games played. Nope, it's 11. All right. So with all of that rambling out of the way, let's get things set up for that first match of the day. So it looks like we did Peony's music last week. Did I do Hop's music at all during the season? I'm pretty sure I did, but like, which version did I use? You know what I mean? Let's see. Clara, Trainer, Battle Tower, Marnie, Hop. Looks like it was just Hop 1. We didn't use Leanna's music. Let's do that then. Leanna's music for this week. Why not? Alright, everything good? You guys can still hear me? Alright, perfect. I may try out a different, I have an actual headset, that I may try out during the playoffs, but for right now, I'm just going to use the setup I've got set up. Lopunny always goes first, but we're just going to start with Tangrowth out of the gate. Actually, I bet you the other team doesn't remember that Linoone has a grass move. Let's start with Linoone first. I guarantee you that's going to throw them for a loop. Like, because they're going to expect me to either do Lopunny like we do almost every other matchup, or to do Tangrowth for the type matchup. Alright, they led Wailord, not a real shock there. I mean, could have done more damage, but I mean, it's a good hit, especially since that was just them rain dancing for a turn. I'm going to Seed Bomb again. I'm going to save Double Edge for next turn. Because if I hurt myself now, that could help the Wailord. I don't think it one-shots me from full health. Well, I stand corrected. Linoon goes down. Nonetheless, we didn't have to get Tangrowth hurt to do any of that. So Wailord getting a knockout. How about that? It's probably not going to fare too well here, though. Survives, and it doesn't go down. It doesn't flinch. Rain boosted Hydro Pump. Wailord came to play in this one. I was going to say, we shouldn't miss a headbutt, but if we somehow did, it could beat us. Alright, but Wailord getting some good damage on the Lopunny. Alright, so they're trying to take advantage of Swift Swim, I'm guessing. We should still be faster. Nope. Okay. Will it do enough? It is a Feebas. It did not do enough. Feebas goes down. The rain is gone. I think that thing has quick attack, if I remember. Yep, called that. Okay. We got lucky and it missed the hurricane. And they're in trouble now. They needed that hurricane to hit. Now they're just hoping for like a freeze or something crazy. Speaking of freeze, there's a blizzard. In the red. Critical hit. No freeze. Alright, the Relicanth does have Sturdy. But we do still have the Lopunny available, so I don't like its odds of winning here. But you never know. It's faster. It misses the 90% accurate Zen Headbutt. That's big. If it could have taken us out and had full health, it might have had a chance. Like, it really might have had a chance. Now it's going to land the Zen Headbutt. Oh, did not do enough? I wasn't paying attention. I assumed it was knocking us out. It didn't do enough with the Zen Headbutt. Okay, well, that means it probably wasn't going to matter anyway. Wow. All right. So that's a 4-0 victory for Team Leanna. Wailforce drops to 0-13. Meaning that they'll have to win next week to avoid being the first team to ever go winless in our league. All right, Team Leanna with 2 wins, and they have the doubleheader against Garrett next week. So depending on how things shake out with Garrett's game today, they could potentially at least tie them. And then, of course, tiebreaker would go to point score, which I don't know what that is off the top of my head, but yeah. All right, speaking of Team Garrett, Game 2, we have 4 and 8, the Licky Munchkins, against 4 and 7, Team Garrett. Team Garrett has not been mathematically eliminated from playoff contention yet. But to get in, they have to win all 3 of these remaining games and have the Power lose out. So if the Power get a win, or if Team Garrett drops one of these 3 final games, they will not get in. All right. All right, let's see here. All right, we always seem to start with Licky and or Munchlax. It seems like this team actually does a pretty good job when we lead Munchlax. So I'm going to lead Munchlax and hold Licky back for later. Here we go. All right, it was Shift Tree, so good choice going with the Munchlax. Gonna Fire Punch, see if we can get lucky and get a burn on it. All right, they're going to go for the Swords Dance and then Sucker Punch, Leaf Blade, everything strategy. Which against Wailforce works because it's a water team. I don't know how well it will work against this team. I mean, the Sucker Punch will be deadlier than the Leaf Blade, in my opinion. Munchlax tanks it, though. And Shift Tree goes down. All right, the Mawil's in, and the Mawile is going to take us out. We don't really have anything great for the Mawile. I'm just going to put Licky in there. We can Hydro Pump it at least. Oh, they're trying to flinch us. Didn't work. All right, decent hit, Licky. That wasn't great for us. If they get another flinch like that, I think Mawile wins this head-to-head. Darn it, there's the other flinch. Licky will go down the Mawile. Hydro Pump, boosted in the rain. And from a water type. Yep, there we go. Although this does create a problem. Yep, that's the problem I was thinking about. That creates a a big problem in that regard. I guess we hope we go first and hit it hard. I don't think we're going to go first. We definitely did not go first. All right. Yeah, we're in trouble. This one's pretty much over now. It's just going to have guaranteed thunders. You could say it was a miscalculation on my part, but our only other way to deal with it would have been Licky. So, like, we didn't really have anything great for dealing with the Manectric. Alright, we're normal and Ferry, but we're a baby, so I still expect to go down in one hit. Yep. Alright, at the moment, it's looking like Team Garrett's going to be keeping their playoff hopes alive. They're doing everything on their end, anyway, to help their chances. Alright, our best chance is if we can outspeed and get a flinch with Waterfall. That's our only chance. We do outspeed. We do get the Waterfall to land. Do we get the flinch? We did not get the flinch. And that's going to be a victory for Team Garrett. A 3-0 victory to keep their playoff hopes alive for now. All right. Moving on. Third matchup of the day. We've got... This is an interesting one for the playoffs because not just for Team Garrett, but for all those that are on the outside looking in. If the Power win, it will eliminate the Squirtle Squad, Team Garrett, and My Little Ponyta from playoff contention. If the Squirtle Squad win, then via tiebreakers, they're going to pass the Power and take the 6th spot. The Power would drop to 7. However, they would still be in the race because we have another week left. And it would keep Team Garrett and My Little Ponyta alive as long as they don't lose. We already saw Team Garrett get a win. So this is a big one as far as who's getting in and who's not. Also, if the Power wins, since those other teams will be eliminated, all the teams that are currently in the playoffs right now, the top 6, would all be clinched and guaranteed a guaranteed playoff spot. Their seeding could change, but they would all be guaranteed to be at least in the playoffs. So, again, we've got the 7-5 Pokemon Power and the 6-6 Squirtle Squad. And this is the big matchup today that everyone in the league has their eyes on because it's deciding who does and doesn't get in the playoffs. After that, everyone will turn their attention to what seeding they get. But this will determine what teams are going to be in the dance or have a chance to be in the dance and which ones are not in the dance. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see, Rhyperior, Gardevoir, Walrein, Toxicroak, Magnezone for this. Toxicroak is absolutely marvelous here, except for the fact that it's slower than Porygon Z. That has some sort of type advantage against all these except for Salamence. So we'll save it back to start. Curlia has started a lot for this team. So I'm going to start Gardevoir, and we'll go from here. And go from there. It'd be funny if we got Curlia Gardevoir just to, like, start off the battle. Of course, since I picked Gardevoir, this will be the one time Curlia is not selected. Seriously, though, like, for Toxicroak, if we can get around Salamence It even set up like Porygon Z for like Sucker Punch territory. Like Toxicroak could run away with this one. Alright. Well, let's go ahead and take a chance on Focus Blast, because they usually set up Hail the first turn. And Focus Blast, or as it's affectionately known, Focus Miss, missed. They're no doubt gonna... Oh, that would be horrible. They're no doubt gonna go for Blizzard, so let's put Walrein in. Yeah. What's our ability? Do we have Thick Fat? We have Thick Fat, so even less damage taken. We're already 4 times resistant to ice, and then you do that, so we're like, it does like an 1/8 of our health or something. I don't know. 8 times resistant, something like that. Hydro Pump. All right, they're staying in and going Shadow Ball. Missed the first Hydro Pump. Not a good start there. Not a good start. Come on. Oh, we're speed tied. Okay. All right, depending on if that was a high or low roll, we could take it out with this next Hydro Pump. We missed again. Are you kidding? This is the Pokemon that sheer colds everything to death. We can't hit Hydro Pump? And we can't use sheer cold because it's another ice type. For those that are wondering why I'm not using that. Sheer cold does not work on fellow ice types. It just barely survives. Glaceon's going to take out Walrein. That is not great, but at least it does open the door for this guy. They do still have the Salamence, though. We just need to outspeed the Glaceon. I think we'll be fine with Gardevoir. I know it has Shadow Ball, but we should be faster. Yep. We've had a Focus Blast miss. We've missed 2 Hydro Pumps. Like, we're not in good shape here to start out. Alright, there's the Porygon Z. I think that's Psychic. That's why I was worried about Toxicroak going against it. Oh, I think it's got adaptabilities. That Tri-Attack's going to hurt a lot. It did. We got lucky. We weren't burned or anything. Focus Blast hits. Porygon Z goes down. Porygon Z is one of the better Pokemon on the Squirtle squad. So that's a big one. That is a big one. All right, there's the funny matchup I was waiting for. Except we don't have any super effective moves. Kirlia survives. It does have Shadow Ball to retaliate against us. And both sides are in the red. It should be a knockout for Gardevoir. I'm going to actually, yeah, I was going to say wait and watch it happen, because I thought there was going to be a knockout in an earlier match when there wasn't. Salamence. If we can get some damage on Salamence, like, we can just win the game with Toxicroak. It is faster than us. That's probably going to be a... Well, I mean, it is using Fly, so we have a chance to retreat if we want. Although I think it has... I think it has a fire move. I think it's best to let Gardevoir go down here. And then we can put in Magnezone with Sturdy or Rhyperior with Solid Rock, either way. And they should survive a hit to retaliate. Yeah, because it is faster than us. It could just hit us with something else instead of Fly next time. Yeah, I think that's the play. I hate throwing Pokemon away, but I think that's the best way to have the other three come in safely. Salaman's getting a knockout. It hasn't been used much this season, so I don't think its knockout total is too high. Let's go Rhyperior, because Stone Edge has an 80% chance to hit, whereas Thunder has a 70% chance to hit if we went with Magnezone. Come on, Rhyperior, need you to hit here, buddy. Rhyperior tanks it. Lands the Stone Edge. Was it a crit, or is he just that strong? He's just that strong. All right. This is not so great for us. This is not so great for us at all. On the off chance we don't die and we get to attack, let's go Mega Horn. I did say on the off chance. And this is where Toxicroak is going to help immensely. Alright, if it's faster than us, we just... Because I know it has Dig. If it's faster than us, we retreat and let Magnezone take the hit. And then next time around, we go Sucker Punch. If it's slower than us, we're going to either knock it out or hurt it bad enough that we could win the with that same strategy when Toxicroak comes back in. So Poison Jab and see what happens. It is indeed faster than us. That is unfortunate. So now I do have a choice to make. Then again, with Magnezone, it has Sturdy. I think we have to hope we survive. It did not get a Swords Dance off. It just went right into attacking. If we survive, we can Poison Jab it and pretty much lock this game up. Toxicroak survives! Yeah, so we got the poison. I was going to say, if we get the poison, we win for sure. Because it'll be poisoned and hurt itself even when it's in the hole. Sucker Punch. Again, didn't beat it, but it's got less health. They did not go for Dig this time. Which is smart on their part. Instead of having that extra turn in the hole. But again, they're poisoned. And Magnezone has Sturdy, so we're going to win because of the poison. Like, there's no way that they can beat us. They can't dig in one turn. They can't. Like, it's over. Magnezone will be the one that technically gets the knockout with Tri-Attack. But that was Toxicroak's setup that won the battle. And with that, the Power have won. A close one, albeit, but they have won 1-0. And that will officially knock out Team Garrett, the Squirtle Squad, and My Little Ponyta from playoff contention. The Power, Mamoswine, Haunter, and Nightmare AC have all clinched playoff spots with that victory by the power. Now, as far as where everyone's going to be seated, that's still a big mess. But that will decide, that game right there decides who the 6 are that are in the playoffs. Speaking of seeding and who's where, this next game we've got the 8-4 Mamoswine Flu against the 8-4 Harpers Ferry Haunter. All right. That win also put me at 2-1 against the computer today. Well, the other player, you know what I mean. I'm just going to continue to call them the computer because every other year before this, I was playing against a computer. So, out of habit, they're the computer to me. Alright, this team, we usually lead with the Mamoswine, because that's who this person likes to lead with on their team. But I'm actually going to change that up. No, I'm not going to do that. Their wishes were to lead with Mamoswine, so I'd be breaking the trend I've been going with all season, where I go with whatever they say, whether it makes sense or not. All right, here we go. This is a big one for seeding purposes. The winner will have an outside chance at the 2 seed. The loser is going to be somewhere between 3 and 6. More likely 4, 5, 6, but you never know. All right. Mamoswine versus the Azel. Not ideal. Let's go to Bronzong. Azelf hasn't showed up a whole lot lately, but it's scary when it does. Because it is the fastest Pokemon in the league. But in a way that works out for Bronzong here. Because we can do this, and then Gyro Ball it. Alright, I was worried our defense was going to drop. Then it could have been really problematic. But as long as it doesn't get the defense drop, we should win this exchange. It definitely got a crit there, that's for sure. Come on. Bronzong will take out the Azelf. That is big. Big, big to start. Okay, they're going with Swampert. Our Gyro Ball won't really have the same effect against that. Let's go Psychic. Just get some damage on it. Man, that was a pretty solid. We got a critical hit. I was going to say, that was a solid hit. Bronzong will go down to Swampert. Which one do I think is better here? And we have better defenses, but I think it has better offenses, so it's kind of an even trade-off. Let's go Crawdon. Unless there's a critical hit, it shouldn't be able to knock us out in one turn. And with a Dragon Dance, we have potential to just run amok. We're already faster too, which helps. Alright, special defense fell. That's not great, but we also already lost some health. So, I mean, we're not really worried about that. Crab Hammer not being 100% is worrisome, though. It will work this time and take out Swampert, however. They have a lot of their team is weak to water and ground set favors us, if we can get that far. Crunch. I was going to say because it had a higher chance of hitting. For those that were wondering why I did that instead of Crab Hammer. Yeah, we got a really good shot at winning this now. Because they're going to basically have to hope we either miss or they just survive somehow. They're faster than us, even after the Dragon Dance. Interesting. Alright. Cronont goes down to Magmortar. I would have maybe thought that before the Dragon Dance, but I'm shocked that with the Dragon Dance we were still slower. Alright, Magmortar, what are you going to do against this guy? Psychic. I forget all the neat little tricks that Electivire and Magmortar can learn. I mean, in the grand scheme, it didn't do that much damage, but just the fact that it can even use Psychic is crazy. Oh, we got a special defense drop. Although I believe it's his last Pokemon is a physical attacker. So it's like we didn't have anything bad happen to us at all there. Alright, Regirock. It is faster than us, which shows how slow Gastrodon is. I thought we would be faster, so I did not bother to use Recover. That's my bad. Big hit on the Regirock, though. It's most likely going to take us out. Yep. But it's an injured Regirock against Torkoal and Magmortar. And honestly, Torkoal has enough physical defense. Plus, we'll have Solar Beam in the sun. Like, it doesn't even have to charge up. So unless they get a critical hit here, Torkoal wins. Alright, here comes that Stone Edge. Even with the critical hit, Torkoal tanks it. So Torkoal's gonna win. Just despite my own stupidity for even taking that chance to begin with. And that is gonna be a win, a 2-0 win for Mamoswine Flu. Alright. So I'm 3-1 against the computer today. And that means Mamoswine has a chance for a higher seed. Now we go into today's main event. The battle for the 2 seed. Whoever wins this will be the 2 seed at the moment. We'll have control of it, I should say. The Fairmont Flygon at 9-3. And Nightmare AC at 8-4. This is a big one. That's why it's today's match of the day, even though the #1 team is not necessarily involved because That 2 seed gets a bye also, so it's also a very coveted spot. Nightmare won earlier this season when I was in control of Nightmare. I get to be in control of my own team this time around, so hopefully I can get myself a win here. It was a good one to lead with, though. I feel like I should save the Sableye for Lucario specifically. It's the only one that's like, it's all physical, so if we could burn it, that would really mess it up. Flygon is not going to do well against Weavile or Latios to start. Aggron's kind of a safe play. Sharpedo is kind of a safe play if it doesn't... It would depend on if Ludicolo's in there, which I guess if Ludicolo's in there, I could switch Regice in. I'd like to have Regice for Latios. Darn, this is tough. I guess I gotta go Sharpedo because I'm running out of time. Literally, I got 5 seconds. Darn you, time limits. Okay, that's not ideal. We could hit that, but it also could hit us very hard. Protect. Okay, it went straight into Thunder. So we know Sharpedo's dead. If it connects. Alright, Sharpedo, let's see what you got here, buddy. A flinch would be greatly appreciated here. It did not flinch. Oh, and it connected. Sharpedo will go down to the Rotom. Dang it. Alright, Flygon, get out there. It floats, so Earth Power doesn't actually work. Dragon Rush is kind of an all-or-nothing move. Let's go Crunch. Hopefully that does enough at this point. Alright, it did. Okay. One apiece down. I do not like seeing that this early. I know Regice is not built for physical defense, like it's especially defensive Pokemon, but I'm not letting Flygon get outsped and go down in one shot. We do have Flash Cannon to work with. No crits, please. It did not. Crits, please. It also did not. If it does not crit us, we take it out with the next Flash Cannon. Alright, Weavile goes down. Albeit Regice is not in great shape at the moment. This isn't great. I think we just have to kiss Regice goodbye here. Sableye, for the love of Pete, please actually get this to work for once on the first try. Thank you. We've had so many battles this season where it seems like it's always the second one that hits. Well, that helps immensely. Because the Lucario is not going to hit as hard now. I'm actually going to save Sableye. It could come in handy with Shadow Sneak later. All right. We're faster, so it's going down. No, it did not go down. I'm glad I burned it. Interesting, it went for Meteor Mash, I guess to get the attack stat back up. You think it would have done Drain Punch so that, like, it could have got some health back. Technically a knockout for Sableye then, since the burn is what took it out. Alright, Latios is probably going to outspeed us and take us out. Yep. Not looking good for us right now. I still feel confident with some of the plays I made, but like, yeah. This might really, we might have to use Sableye to try and beat the Ludicolo at the end, which is really going to be hoping for a lot. Alright, now we're going to go down to 1 health. We're basically going to have to hope for flinching from Iron Head to have a chance in this one. Because we will outspeed both it and Ludicolo. It'll come down to if we get a flinch or not. If we get a flinch, we have a chance. I know I have Ice Punch, but like we're not going to one-shot it from here. So we need the flinch. If we get the flinch, then we can maybe Ice Punch next turn. Come on. Yes! Alright, I'm going to go for the Ice Punch. I don't think we're going to be lucky enough to get 2 flinches in a row. In the red, of course. Okay. Although I will say, I did make the comment about Sableye's Shadow Sneak coming in handy. Wouldn't it be something if Sableye somehow, of all my Pokemon, turns this around for us, right? Please be enough. I know that you're not that strong. Please be enough. Okay. Sableye takes out Latios. Now the real problem. Can we manage to actually do enough to do anything to Ludicolo? Come on, waste a turn with Rain Dance, CP. Yes! Why do people think that? You're already faster than me. I'm already hurt. It's not like you need the rain boost on your Hydro Pump. It seems like everyone that runs Ludicolo always has to do that Rain Dance first. I would have liked to see a little more damage, or at least have gotten the poison there to give us a much better shot. If we survive this turn, we could potentially Shadow Sneak again. So it's going to come down to what they do. Oh, Hydro Pump, please miss. No! Well, we were close. I mean, at least there was a chance. Hydro Pump does have a 20% chance to miss. So, we had a chance. If it would have missed, Sableye could have Poison Jab again, then maybe we would have had a shot with Shadow Sneak the next turn. So we had a shot. It didn't work out for us, but we had a shot. Was that 1-0 loss? Yeah, 1-0 loss. So I believe that's going to put Nightmare ahead with a week to go. Although, again, things could change. If we win next week against Rayquaza, Nightmare loses to Ponyta, we could literally just change places again. But for right now, I believe that puts Nightmare as the 2 seed. Because I think they had tiebreaker over Mamoswine already. So, alright, little upset to see my team lose that crucial match, but it happens. Some unfortunate events occurred in that game, such as, you know, the Sharpedo not getting the flinch earlier, the Thunder hitting on the first try. You know, there were things on both sides that could have been better. Alright, last matchup of the day. This is the Raging Rayquaza against... If I can find him. Let's see, Rayquaza is 11-1. My Little Ponyta, who came into the day at 5-7 with a shot to make the playoffs if they won out. But with the events that occurred in some of the other games, they have been mathematically eliminated even if they do win out. So this is just for trying to finish at 500, maybe get some wins over some rivals. I know next week they play Nightmare. That's their biggest rival, so they'll want to win that one to put a nice bow on the end of the season. We'll see what happens. But for right now, we've got a bow to go. We're going to lead Hippopotas because we've got the Garchomp, so we'll lead Hippopotas to set that up, and then the rest will follow suit. We gotta go Fissure. That's what we always do with this thing, right? No Fissure on the first attempt. We need to hope they don't crit since they're going for Psycho Cut. Close. 0 for 2 on the Fissure. The Hippopotas going down early. Metagross gets the knockout. Well, we go Garchomp then. Earthquake. Alright. So now you go first. Like, you're still going down next turn. Actually, you could have argued that you could have done Psycho Cut last turn and then Bullet Punch. You could have got more damage off on me. Alright. Nonetheless, Metagross goes down. I know it's got a Ferry move. At the same time, I'm going to go to Gastrodon because I don't want it to Paraflinch us to death. Because even if we put the Mighty Cresselia in there, it could paralyze us, and then that turns into like a 6-hour game. At least this way it might Air Slash us, but it's not going to be able to have Thunder Wave and Air Slash. Alright, 1 for 1 on Blizzard. We land another one, we beat it. We're going to recover first, though, assuming we don't flinch here. Didn't matter, it beat us. It got a higher roll. Great. Well, in that case, it still can't paralyze this. It does have ancient power, but just saying. We're faster, we use Thunder, and we get to connect first try. 100% on Thunder and Blizzard so far. Rotom fan coming in big there. Alright, get Rotom out of there. Cresselia. Going for the Ice Fang. Glad I didn't put Garchomp out there. I'm not too worried about that. I mean, it does have Fissure, but we have Levitate, so it can't hit us with Fissure. I know it has Earthquake, which it also can't hit us with. So it's essentially got Slack Off and Ice Fang. Which means as long as we don't get frozen, we can just Calm Mind until we're ready to sweep everything. I'm going to try to squeeze one more Calm Mind out, and then I will I will recover, just to make sure our health doesn't get low enough that a crit could take us out. Ooh, my Elgato's having some hiccups. Moonlight. Alright, it desynced. I was waiting for it to desync. Because it always does that when it has that kind of hiccup. It just didn't right away. Whoa. It's incredibly condensed picture-wise. I don't know why it did that either. Alright. Moonlight. We didn't get as much healing because of the sandstorm that first time. There we go, that's better. Yeah, at this point, their only option is if they could get us frozen. I mean, honestly, their best two Pokemon to deal with Cresselia were Metagross and Togekiss, and they're already out of the picture. So, like, this Pokemon isn't unbeatable, but this Rayquaza team has done a good enough job this season of putting the rest of the team around it to take care of anything that could beat Cresselia, and then Cresselia can just kind of come in and do its thing. There may be another desync here soon. I just heard through my headset the Elgato hiccup again. So we'll see. Hopefully that's not the case, but be ready for that, ladies and gentlemen, if I gotta adjust the footage again. Alright, we've got everything. Let's go ahead and Moonlight one more time, and then we'll start trying to win this battle. I guess we're already trying to win the battle, but you know what I mean, we'll start attacking. Ice Fang misses, so we do have full health. Here we go. Ooh, that says a lot. Hippowdon's a bulky Pokemon. It going down in one shot like that tells you everything you need to know about how this battle's going to end. Alright. Cresselia beats the Bronzor. And this one should just about do it. Psychic. And ball game. A 3-0 victory for the Raging Rayquaza, officially locking them in as the 1 seed for the playoffs. All right, with all that said and done, everybody, I'll be right back in a moment with our updated standings. Hold on just a moment. Hello there, everybody. We're back. Here's the updated schedules and standings. So as it stands right now, we know the 6 teams that will be in the playoffs. We do not know seeding other than the fact that the Raging Rayquaza will be the 1 seed. Nightmare AC is currently in second via point differential. And even if the point differential is tied with them beating the Flygon both times, they have that tiebreaker. And they also beat Mamoswine head-to-head, so they have that tiebreaker. So Nightmare AC sitting in that 2 spot, meaning they would have a bye week. Fairmont Flygon at number 3, and Mamoswine Flu at number 4, both of which just hoping for Nightmare to mess up next week, so that 2 spot becomes an open spot again. Pokemon Power in the 5 seed, they could move as high as the 3 seed. They mathematically can't catch Nightmare, because even if Nightmare... Well, I take that back. If Nightmare got swept and the Power also pulled off a sweep, then their tiebreaker would be even. And the Power did win the head-to-head matchup. Okay, so the Power could technically get the 2 seed if Nightmare was swept and if the Power had a sweep as well. Barring something crazy like that happening, the highest the Power can get is the 3 seed. But they could be anywhere between 3, 4, 5, and 6. Harpers, Ferry, Haunter, kind of a similar thing. They could be anywhere between 3, 4, 5, and 6. So just because you're 5 or 6 this week doesn't mean that's where you're going to end up. But those are the 6 teams that will be in the playoffs. Team Garrett actually jumping a half game ahead of Ponyta there. We'll see if that remains the case after their doubleheader next week. And Wailforce 1 looking to make history, possibly being the first winless team we've ever had in league history. We'll see how that goes. Again, I know they didn't try to go for the win this season, but they would have liked a win, so we'll see how that goes next week. I will say I do expect there to finally be a roster move. I'll just come out and say it. I'm not happy with Dusclops' performance this season. Without an Eviolite, it has not fared well. So I'm probably going to be looking to get rid of that. I thought about getting rid of Sableye earlier in the season, but it has actually performed well the last couple times I've used it. So it's earned its spot staying on this team. But I am strongly considering moving Dusclops. I won't allow any roster moves once the playoffs start, so this is the last week to make a move. So you guys will know by the beginning of next video if I make a move or not. Looking at the rosters, Latios still out in front with 17-6, Lucario with 12-6, both of which are MVP candidates. I'm going to have the managers vote on an MVP between this video and next video. I might give them an extra week, but it'll be the same candidates. Let's see. Metagross and Roserade are out in front for My Little Ponyta. I'm not going to have them in the MVP candidate race. Normally, those are great numbers, especially in Roserade's case where it's got single-digit feints. But when I started going down the list, we had such a long list of Pokemon with like 10, 11, 12, and single-digit feints that like it just got to be a whole too much. So I kind of did a limit on how many feints. So the Roserade having 8 feints and Metagross having 10, we're not going to have them in there. Plus with Ponyta having a losing record, you can make an argument that the MVP isn't on a team that didn't do well. You know what I mean? So flipping that script, Walrein. 7 was the most feints I allowed when I cut it down. Walrein clearly carrying the power, albeit it didn't have a great week this week. But without Walrein, the power probably wouldn't be in the playoffs. Just looking at the fact that they needed to win today to lock in a spot. So they've been a good team. It's more a testament to how good the competition has been. Without Walrein, like a lot of those 1-0 battles probably wouldn't have been 1-0 victories. But that's the only one from their team that's in it. So right now our list is Latios, Lucario, Walrein, if you're keeping track at home. Raging Rayquaza, Cresselia's in. I know it's only played 7 games, but it's got 16 knockouts in those 7 games. It's only fainted once. So clearly it's at least got to be a candidate. I understand if people don't want to pick it to be the MVP because of only 7 appearances, but it definitely should be a candidate. Garchomp makes the list as well, 13-6. I don't see too many people picking Garchomp over Cresselia if they're picking someone from this team. But Garchomp is on the list by the 7 or less feints I put as the criteria. So there's 5 MVP candidates right there. We have 6 this year. There's Flygon 12-5, and Aggron 10-5. I didn't feel like Flygon and Aggron, like, they've had good numbers for my team, but I didn't feel like they had stood out as like MVPs. If anything, like if you're thinking them as like a Michael Jordan or Scottie Pippen, a lot of my team like Flygon, Aggron, Sharpedo, Regice, they've been more like Scottie Pippens, or like their niche role has been really good, but they haven't been like the guy or girl in some of these Pokemon gender cases, but you get my point. So like I didn't put either of them in the MVP race. Squirtle Squad, kind of the same story as Roserade, where like Leafeon 13-5 looks impressive, but they're not going to make the playoffs. So like the age-old argument of, is the MVP, can the best player be on a team that didn't have a lot of success? You know, like, because yeah, technically you could do that. You could put Michael Jordan on that 6-win Charlotte Bobcats team, and they're not going to make the playoffs. You know, but then you probably don't win the MVP because your team didn't succeed. You know, like it's sort of a balance between team success and individual success. Licky Munchkins, their leader was Pelipper. Wailforce, Wailord taking the lead now for Wailforce, which just makes sense. Harpers, Ferry, Haunter. I really thought hard about putting Heatran in the MVP case, the MVP race. Same with Azelf, but they're so sporadically used. I mean, Cresselia is a hard one to sell with it playing only 7, like half of the games. With them playing 6, not even half. Like if they don't play it next week, they won't have even played in half the games. Kind of hard to give an MVP to something that wasn't even there half the time. If the managers want to do a write-in vote and put them on the ballot, I will accept that vote. But I'm not going to have them on the ballot to begin with, just because of the few number of times they were used. Mamoswine flew, on the other hand. Mamoswine absolutely on the MVP race with its 21 knockouts and 7 feints. So those are your 6. Latios, Lucario, Walrein, Cresselia, Garchomp, and Mamoswine. You could maybe swap out Garchomp for the Heatran. We'll see about that. Team Garrett, their leader was Shiftry for knockouts, Manectric for ratio, and then Lopunny was the leader for Team Leanna. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. As you can see down here, I've updated the playoff bracket. We do have the Raging Rayquaza. Oh, we scrolled up too far there. We do have the Raging Rayquaza in there as the 1 spot, because they are indeed our guaranteed 1 spot. So that record will change based on next week. They'll either be 12-2 or 13-1, but they are the 1 seed. Everyone else is fighting for the rest. For playoffs this season, we will be following the same rules we did last season, where since people feel that they have an advantage when I'm at the helm, which it's a slight advantage. I've won 61% of the battles this season. So sort of like home court advantage, should I say. People are worried that we would just have the higher seed win every battle. Although last season when we did it the way we're going to do it, there were no upsets at all. There were upsets, but like they were all 2-0 upsets. If there were upsets. They were all 2-0 victories. That's what I'm trying to say. Sheesh. So the way it works is instead of like you've heard of like a best of 3 series. We do what we call a best of 2 series. And the reason we say 2, we have 1 game where I am in charge of a team. So let's take the 4 and 5 seed here. Game 1, I'm in charge of the 5 seed. And the computer... No, game 1, I'm in charge of the 4 seed. And the other player is in charge of the 5 seed. After that game, we record what the score was. We switch teams. They use the exact same teams. So no changing of lineups. It's the exact same lineup. But now I am the 5 and they are the 4. So both teams get a chance to be run by me. Both teams get a chance to be run by the other player. And that way, like, no one had a particularly unfair advantage, so to say. The advantage we do give is I do let the higher seed pick if they want me in the first or second game. Last season, I thought the advantage would be having me in the second game because you know how many points you need to score to win. But it seemed like last season, whoever did well in the first game was who went on to win. So this season, I've mixed it up to where I'll let the higher seed pick for themselves. If they're me first or me second, the default will be me second unless they specify otherwise, because I do have some managers that probably won't respond in time. Just going by, you guys have probably noticed over the last few weeks, some of the managers have used the same lineup repeatedly where they didn't respond to the request for a new lineup. So in the event of them not responding, we just, by default, will have me... we'll just be the higher seed first. I said it the other way around, but we'll have me be the higher seed first by default just because they're the higher seed. Let them be at home first, so to say. So yeah, so we'll get to work on the MVP race. I think I won't have the MVP voted on until after next week's games, so they'll get 2 weeks to cast a vote. And then after that, we will call it a regular season, and we'll start our playoffs. So yeah, if you liked what you saw here today, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, you know, that YouTube nonsense. And I'll see you next week for the final week of the regular season, week 14 of the Pokemon SWSH Draft League. All right, see you then. Bye-bye.